Model United Nations, also known as Model UN or MUN, is an educational simulation of the United Nations where students learn diplomacy, international relations, global issues, and how the UN is run. Basically, you roleplay as countries and talk about adult stuff. I participated in my first MUN pretty recently, and it was interesting to say the least. I was pretty thrilled about it because a lot of my friends were doing it too. However, we weren't placed in the same committee. I ended up in UNEP as the country of Algeria, along with some of my friends, discussing the bleak reality of climate change, so yay. On day 1, our judges strictly instructed everyone to speak. I don't know if I've mentioned before, but I am a very socially anxious individual. Oh no, what if you stutter and sound like a rat? We all had to introduce ourselves before the committee meetings actually began. I made it through the introduction hoping to retreat back into my shell. However, I was not getting away without a speech on the first day. Our judges were strict about making everyone talk. Since chickening out wasn't an option, I decided to try my best. The room was pretty small, but I spoke so quietly that they had to give me a microphone in order to hear my voice. I was super embarrassed. But most of the people here were first-timers like me, so I didn't feel too bad about myself. My best friend China, on the other hand, was popping off. He had some MUN experience before this, so he was basically carrying the committee. After my speech, the judges were impressed, which caught me off guard. The positive remarks from them gave me my confidence, a boost for the subsequent days. So, on day 2, I was constantly pushing myself to speak over and over, which made me a little uneasy. I wasn't used to speaking in front of so many people. It made me feel almost nauseous even. In the middle, I got into a semi-debate with USA, which I ended up stuttering in. I literally paused for a whole minute, and this one girl was gesturing to me that it's okay. The US emits 11 million metric tons of carbon dioxide every day. Basically, whenever people agreed with a statement, they banged their desks to show their agreement. There was a guy who was actually part of the organizers, but he decided to join our committee temporarily to help spark more debates. And so he became the country of Ukraine. He immediately launched a flurry of charged questions at the delegate of Russia, and this led to one of the most heated debates in the committee. One thing that impressed me was how passionate they were about their arguments. The anger in their voices, the determination to win. Well, later, someone told me that they were exes, which explained a lot. So, on the final day, everything went downhill quickly. The end goal of the committee was to write a draft resolution, which is basically a list of actionable steps countries are encouraged to take to fix the issue. We, however, had more than one draft resolution, and the final one was to be chosen through democracy. One of them was led by China and Russia. It had a lot of support in the beginning, and all members of the committee were on board to help them write a successful draft resolution. Until one of China's close friends, Bangladesh, decided to troll him by creating another faction and gathering support with the sole purpose of making China fail. So he allied with the US and wrote a scuffed draft resolution and convinced people that supporting China's draft resolution was risky for everyone's foreign policies. Only one of the draft resolutions was to be finalized by the committee through a vote, and by the time the vote began, Bangladesh won over the majority using his scare tactics, and then the scuffed error-ridden draft resolution outvoted the draft resolution written by people who actually tried. And then, unsurprisingly, the judges decided that the committee failed. Before we left the meeting room feeling varying levels of bitterness, they did a confession box thingy where you send letters anonymously for the judges to read them out. Good job for your first MUN. This was the only confession that was about me. It didn't surprise me at all because I actually wrote that one in myself as a pat on my back for trying. We were then taken to the closing ceremony. As the winners were being announced, our judges told us that since our committee failed, there wouldn't be any Best Delegate or Honorable Mention Award. 4 people in our committee, including China, won the Special Mention Award, so it wasn't all bad. Anyway, there was a concert after the award ceremony to celebrate, which was not too hype at first, but then they played Fiend and the crowd went wild. Overall, I feel like this MUN experience was super interesting and eventful. Although it was exhausting and stressful at times, I think it was vital for me to come out of my comfort zone. I also got a good look at the kind of confidence I aspire to gain. Thank you for making it this far. I was a bit worried about the topic of the video being too niche, so I hope it was at least somewhat coherent. Anyway, see you in the next video, which will be in the distant future.